Welcome back to the Whatnauts Reactor Core number 41, in which we are going to be reacting to Marvel's What If Episode 1. I'm super stoked to talk about this one. I've already watched it twice. It was really good. I liked it. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how's it going?
Hi. I'm doing fine. I thought it was cute that you called this our actual little podcast. It is little,
actual little
and
podcast,
it is actual. Yeah. Small and real.
So some of these like alternate mystery timelines, we don't know how real they actually are. Stuff like that. Man, I'm so excited to talk about this show because this is something entirely new from the MCU.
Yeah.
We've always gotten the live action stuff. We've never really gotten something that is animated, that is in continuity. The producers and the makers of this show have tried to be like, yeah, this is not just some like cartoon that you guys can skip and do all that stuff. There will be stuff that carries into the live action MCU. So I'm super excited. Melissa, what did you think of episode 1 of Marvel's What If?
This was fun. I think this was an excellent beginning. It was great to go back to this world. It felt so similar to Captain America, the First Avenger, not just how many shots it directly copied, but in the tone of the whole thing. It felt like it fit right in. This was a true peek into a slightly different universe.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. I enjoyed this one a lot. I thought the half an hour time frame was interesting. I like that we're gonna get these little small snapshots of all of these different places, and there might be some connecting threads here and there, which I'm sure we'll mention in a sec here. But yeah, I saw some people online saying they thought it felt rushed, which I don't know if I fully agree with. I can see where they're coming from, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is only half an hour, right? Like you have to put all of that in half an hour, so it maybe didn't get as fleshed out or have like enough room to breathe as maybe I would have liked it. But that's the thing. That's not really what this show is going to be per se. Like I said, it is these little small snapshots into these alternate realities. So I thought it worked out fine.
Yeah, like you don't need any context set up. You know what the movie is already. They don't have to lay a lot of groundwork with like Peggy and Steve's romance because you've seen it already.
You already know. Yeah, exactly. So I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was paced really, really well. I thought the writing was okay. I don't think it was especially stand out, but I think that's, again, also kind of just because they had to cram a lot into a small space. Some of the line deliveries, maybe not the best, but that's okay. Like, some of these guys aren't necessarily voice actors. And it shows, but it's fine. It's still like, oh, that's Bucky. Oh, that's this character. Oh, there's that. Yeah. There's Dum Dum, right? So, yeah, like I had fun, I think, for the spectacle that this thing was. But I can see how some people might have been expecting maybe a little more or a little bit better quality or something like that. But I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was very well done. I like how the show looks, the sort of interesting cell shaded kind of look to it, 2D and a half. I think like the shading is beautiful. I just kept looking at Peggy's face and this like light amount of blush on her cheeks. Like all of the lighting and shading in this series so far looks wonderful.
The lighting was incredible. They have some beautiful shots that's just like, oh man, this looks so cool. Like this looks great. They have this like mix of art styles, right? Where the characters are 3D modeled, But then they still have like thick outlines
Yeah.
and stuff like that for the facial features and all the outlines and stuff like that. But then stuff that's in the environment, like smoke or clouds or like the electricity stuff that some of the characters are are shooting out, is more of a 2D effect, and it is more of like a cartoony effect. It almost seems to be animated in a similar way to Into the Spider-Verse, where the characters
Yeah.
looked smooth, like they moved smoothly and stuff like that, but some of the effects that were in the environment were animated slightly differently, but not so much so that was jarring. And then we get these like really really nice like painted backgrounds,
Yeah.
like these. I'm assuming they were digitally painted, and it was a really cool mix. It
Hmm.
looks really neat, so I
Yeah, I
enjoyed it a
liked
lot.
it. Visually, it's great. The action scenes in this are great. Whole new action scenes. I love the montage. It's just one shot of her like fighting throughout the plane while it's playing this like
Oh yeah,
1940s big band music, and it sounds like
that was great.
slightly lo-fi, like it's kind of the audio quality that you would have had of a record of that time. That was such a well done montage. I'm happy to see that good musical choices continue through this show as well as it has been throughout much of the MCU.
Yeah, yeah, it had some great stuff in there. So let's talk about uh how this all kind of got started. So we see the Watcher. I don't know if they name him as Uatu. I think he's just known as the Watcher.
I think it
Um,
is Uatu, but I don't remember if that's how he introduces himself when you turn the TV on. Like, hello, it's me, Uatu the Watcher.
Good old Uatu,
Hmm.
Watterson, or whatever his last name might be. Um, yeah, so he's kind of talking about time and space and reality, and there's infinite possibilities. Multiverses can fraction out of a single timeline just because different choices were made and all that stuff, which
Mm.
we just saw the MCU timeline get splintered and all of that stuff in Loki.
Yep.
So we know that all of these timelines are out there, and we're now peering into these alternate choices and stuff like that. And this one starts with what was a throwaway line in the first Captain America film, where Dr. Erskine is like, "Hey, Peggy, wouldn't it be safer to go watch this from upstairs in the balcony?" And she's just like, "Nah, I'll stay here." And
Mm.
that's what changes things. And as events would turn out, she ends up in the super soldier thing. She ends up stealing the tesseract a lot sooner, which is then used to build a suit of armor that Howard Stark makes for skinny Steve, so he
Hmm.
can be kind of like a Iron Man, War Machine kind of
Yeah.
character. Um, yeah, and then we see her fighting this big tentacle monster that
Yeah.
Red Skull has summoned with the cosmic cube, uh, and then she ends up in Avengers 1 time, or at
Yeah.
least what we think is Avengers 1 time. Um, where she was not in ice, but it has now been like 60 something years. And she's just finding out that they won the war and stuff like that. And Steve is probably an old man by now or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so they kind of switched places, but what did you think about this opening sequence, then when she is the one that turns into the super soldier there?
I dug it. I think the episode description on Disney Plus or something says like when Steve gets sick, Peggy steps in to get the super soldier serum. That's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting Steve to get shot. I was shocked by that. And then I love that there's also a shot of Howard Stark looking shocked, like that. He's me.
Yeah, like
he speaks for me in this moment. Howard Stark does. We've been so similar.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting like that much action to get her into the super soldier pod, but it makes sense. I would have probably taken my pencil skirt off when I got into the pod. I feel like that would have ripped open, and it was probably a very nice skirt. But otherwise, I agree with what she did. Yeah, I don't know like how stretchy the average fabric was in like 1943. I wasn't there.
Well, she did take off her like military or just like her standard issue like uniform shirt. So she's in her undershirt there with that. But yeah, I really liked that this opening sequence is basically shot for shot what happened in Captain America: The First Avenger. I think it was New Rockstars that did the like side by side breakdown, and they had that playing, and it matched up perfectly. And I was like, this is cool. Like I like when they can do stuff like that, where it's like, here's a scene that but it's like it's just slightly different. And yeah, we didn't really have to have the big like chase scene after that because they kill the Hydra spy that's right there. But yeah, we have Steve, who's been shot and is now hurt, and we now have Captain Carter, who is then getting her blood drawn. Now, I don't know about you, but I think these blood vials will come into play in a major way down the road. We put a lot of hard work into the shows that we make, and yes, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and we'd love it if you would check them all out. You can find out more information on our website at thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in the Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. If you want to support what we do here at The Whatnauts, patreon.com/The Whatnauts is the best place to do that. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. You can get all kinds of exclusive content at the $3 tier. You can also get a shout out and thank you on all of our shows at the $5 tier. You can support us on Twitch by subscribing to our channel at twitch.tv/The Whatnauts, and we would love to have you all join us for our live streams and talk with us in the chat. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a sweatshirt or a mug or something else, go to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. I'm kind of skipping ahead a bit here, but I would love to see. We know that there's gonna be a Marvel Zombies thing down the road. I'm wondering if that has to do with her blood.
Oh,
that could be an interesting thing where her blood is the cause of this somehow, some way. Because we know that the super soldier serum, they've perfected it enough that they can use it on people, and we know that it has different effects for different people. So I'm wondering if one of them, doesn't make it somehow, or they continue experimenting on the blood and they radiate it with gamma radiation somehow, some way. And yeah, we start the zombie outbreak. I know I've seen some people mentioning Red Hulk. I think this would be a great place to do Red Hulk, because I don't think we're gonna see William Hurt turning into Red Hulk. But I think to see General Ross turn himself into a Hulk would be neat. Something else that I thought might be neat is, if I'm not mistaken, in the comics, in the Ultimate universe, which
Uh-huh.
is the comics that Miles Morales is
Okay.
from, as well as the idea of Nick Fury looking like Samuel L. Jackson,
Yeah.
which is then why they cast him as in that role. If I'm not mistaken, mutants in that universe were not a naturally occurring thing. It was a result of
Whoa.
experiments. They were experimented on, if I'm not mistaken, with the super soldier serum and gamma radiation. So we could see a cameo from a version of the X-Men, or some, like,
Yeah.
we might see Magneto, or we might see Wolverine.
Just say the word mutant to me,
Yes.
and my
Yeah.
life lights up. Like, just
Mutant
say it. That's
gene.
all I
Yeah.
want. Like, just give us that, and that's plenty for us to be nourished by.
Yeah, just be like,
All
there
I
it
want
is,
is to
it's
hear
coming, it's happening.
say the word. Say it. Yeah, we're set up for a lot of possibilities. All I was thinking about is like how much blood it was, and I'm like, well, I guess if you're a super soldier, you're able to have more blood taken out of you at once and still feel okay. But then you couldn't donate it. Like, you couldn't take that blood to the Red Cross because it's super blood, and they can't just hand that out to anybody.
They're gonna be
like, what's the
experimenting.
point?
Yeah.
You gotta find a variant of that you can just give to the average American citizen that just makes them be able to give more blood, and then blood donation problems are solved.
Melissa,
That's what I was
saving
thinking
the
about.
world. Yeah. Yeah, like there's so many possibilities that something like that, because it's a small shot, but it is a shot that's like, look, we are taking her blood, which is just like, huh,
look at the blood.
like that is like a second or two that like they didn't necessarily need to show or focus on, like, because there is a conversation that's happening at that time where it's like, the sexism, the misogyny, like that could have been the focus of that scene, but they took that quick second to just be like, look at these, don't forget about those.
Yeah,
So,
Bradley Whitford's gonna take that blood and give it to other people he thinks may be more fitting soldiers.
Yeah, and if they're experimenting on that and they somehow start the X-Men, this could also be the start of the weapons program, which could lead to a very, very cool cameo with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
That's
that would
right.
be amazing. Because
what a place for him to be.
I think he would fit in perfectly in the what if stuff.
And he's
like,
got such a distinctive voice. Like, Deadpool already being like such a vocal heavy character. Like, I know he's under there, but you can't like see his face most of the time. Yeah. This would be a good place to introduce him. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thinking about the way science in this universe may grow from the events of this episode, you were talking about how Peggy goes to the future. Steve's probably old. If Steve is alive and well, and he's hanging out with Howard Stark, he doesn't go into the ice or anything, maybe then he's also friends with Hank Pym. Maybe he's, he goes out exploring with him. Maybe he's been in the quantum realm and he comes out, just like Michelle. No, Michelle Pfeiffer totally got older, but Scott was fine. Right. So maybe there is an opportunity where Steve's like, I also went through like a time warp. Here I am. Look, Peggy, we're here in the future, approximately the same age.
Yeah. Well, the actor for Ant-Man just does not age. So he might as well have said, he aged like 10 years, but he looks the exact same. So you never know with that. But so then she gets the serum. She goes and steals the Tesseract, which is then what Howard Stark uses to build this like prototype suit of armor for Skinny Steve. Thoughts on Skinny Steve? Ian War
I liked that.
Or
whatever. They call him like the Hydra Stomper. I like that it is the same like size ratio between him and the suit as between Tony and like the full Hulkbuster armor. The suit is so big. He's so small. I like that he writes. I don't think we see him write it. It's not clear in what part of the suit, if it's on like the forearms or whatever. He clanks his wrists together, but yeah, I like that he writes "Hi from Brooklyn," which is both sassy and very friendly. So I think that's the
Yeah.
perfect tone
Hi
for him, the
from
perfect
Brooklyn.
little message to write. I like that it's not even from America. It's like Brooklyn specifically. I like that he has that much neighborhood pride. It's reminiscent of when he introduces himself to Spider-Man. He's like, "Oh, you're from Queens, I'm from Brooklyn. We're neighbors."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like this dynamic a lot. I love giant, muscular Peggy and small, delicate Steve. I hope, they are approximately the same age in the future and they get married and she can, like, carry him over the threshold of some beautiful home.
Here we go. Just
Yeah.
like throws him over her shoulder.
She could, like, toss him up in the air and catch him like a baby.
Yeah. There you go.
She's so big and he's so small.
Indeed. Yeah, I think that's a great combination for them. That he is tiny, just absolutely tiny. And
Yeah.
she is just this towering woman. Yeah,
I like the
that was
two of them
good.
together a lot. I like how
I do
much
too.
time we did get to spend on the romance in this episode. They're like, we know what the people are here for.
Absolutely. I
We
wasn't
know
expecting
why
to
these
get as
two
emotional.
got to be the. Huh?
I wasn't expecting to get as emotional as I did. Just like seeing them together and
Yeah.
being like, well, you just haven't found the right partner yet, and like you're my hero. I was just like, oh, I love it. I miss them.
I've always loved those two. It was great to get to see them again, but in a different circumstances. There's a reason why those two got to be the final shot of Endgame, the final shot of the Infinity Saga.
Absolutely.
Although maybe the final shot of the Infinity Saga is like Peter staring at his own face plastered across a screen in Times Square. I forget where the saga officially ends.
Yeah.
If the end of the saga and the end of phase 3 are technically the same, this is semantics. It doesn't matter. It's very cute.
Indeed. Yeah, I liked him in that suit there. I would love to see more of that. I don't know if they're going to explore that in another one down the road. But we know that there might be some connective tissue between some of these as well as some of the live action movies. If there is, one of the ones I thought of that I don't think people have mentioned is we saw in trailer footage a world where Loki has kind of taken over.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's where Peggy Carter ended up, and we just don't know it yet. That is what happened. We've also seen her talking to Doctor Strange. I'm wondering if when she pushed this giant tentacle monster back into that like interdimensional wherever they went, I'm wondering if like her going in and then coming out when she meets Nick Fury and all that, I don't think that was instant. Like or like a short span. I think she was in there for a while. And I think that's where she meets Doctor Strange. He might set her along the path to be like, hey, because you stepped out of that timeline, there is now a new timeline in which zombies and now this thing and now Red Hulk and now this and that. And so he might even send her to be like, hey, you go here, you do that, you do this thing. Or maybe not. It might be just be like, oh, who are you? I'm usually the only one here, at least human. And then they meet, and she's just like, all right, bye. But we shall see. I'm excited to see how all of this connects. I'm also expecting there to be some kind of introduction to a new character that will then transition into live action. Specifically, maybe one that we know has already been cast. For example, America Chavez.
That's what I was thinking.
She can punch holes in reality. That might be an interesting way for her to hop from timeline to timeline. And we see her in this, and then we get to see her in live action. That would be wonderful.
I wonder if we get to visit the TVA in any of these what
Wow, that would be
ifs, and if Miss
amazing.
Minutes looks the same, or if she looks slightly altered to fit this animation style.
She'd probably look around the same, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that would be interesting. I'm expecting there to be an appearance of some kind of Kang variant.
Yeah.
I don't know when or why or where or all of that stuff, but I'm
Or
expecting there to
something,
be
or
some of
even
that in
just
there.
like the Kang Enterprises building. There'll definitely be like I can very easily imagine a Kang Easter egg. I'm excited for like this could open up any Easter egg. Like we're trekking around Europe. I'm like, can somebody just say the word Latveria to me, please?
Yes, let's get some Doctor
just
Doom
wanna
in here.
I just want to hear the word mutant and Latveria, and I'll be very happy.
In one sentence, there's mutants in Latveria. Melissa explodes. Good stuff. Yeah. What else? So I don't know how Doctor Strange is going to factor into all of this stuff. I'm wondering if some of the stuff in this show is going to be stuff that is maybe slightly happening in the future of the next Doctor Strange movie. Like we know in Multiverse of Madness, he's going to be dealing with some of the stuff. Maybe there's a montage scene in that where we know he's like out there dealing with that, but maybe one of the what if things is him dealing with that. So when we see it in this show, and then he mentions it in that, we're like, yes, we know exactly what he was up to. There in that. What do you think? What do you think might be some of the like connecting tissue?
I don't know. I'm curious if Uatu will comment on how these stories relate to each other. Like if his narration from episode to episode kind of acknowledges what he's told you about in previous episodes. Like, did you see the thing that happened to Peggy? Look at this.
Yeah. Gosh,
that was a bad
look at this one. Fuck.
Yeah, that was a bad example. I hope he does a lot more than you should check this out.
or just like start to look in on one, be like, oh no, let's not look at that one. Let's look over here.
Yeah, I'm curious how the narration will evolve. Like what his findings are, what connections he sees. Does he act like us? We also watch. He watches. I want him to watch the way I watch.
He watches. He sits there and does nothing. But there is precedent for the watchers intervening in stuff.
Yeah.
For them, like not necessarily like falling in love, but like being familiar with this world and then starting to want to like root for the Avengers or whoever. So I'm wondering if maybe there is something that by the season finale, maybe Uatu decides to intervene and do something, because maybe Kang is starting to amass some zombie thing and is just like, yeah, we need to stop that. That's not good. And then does that. Who knows? Maybe by the end of season 1, he's on that path. Because I don't know if they've confirmed season 2 exactly yet, but there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of Captain Carter, like we have some stuff planned for her, like that, didn't make it in season 1, all of that stuff. I don't know if it's been like official confirmed. It's been like, oh, this guy let it slip that this is, there's gonna be more down the road, but I don't know. That could be
we'll see.
To see him intervene and mess something up.
I have been curious if this season, despite it being an anthology series, if it is going to have any sort of an arc to it. if the final
Right.
episode is going to be any sort of a true season finale and that it is the culmination of something, it brings something together, or is it just, that's just the biggest of the 9 episodes we had. It's just the flashiest, so we put that one last.
Yeah, indeed. Is there anything else that you are hoping for to see in season 1 here, or what are you excited about to see down the
I
road?
know next week is the episode where T'Challa is Star-Lord, which I'm
That's gonna be a
excited
fun one.
about.
Yeah.
And it seems like, I think there's a shot of Ego like in the trailer footage, so it seems like he is truly Ego's child. It's not just like Yondu came there to pick up Peter Quill and just wanted this kid instead. No, I like this one. I'm gonna take him. Seems like this is a world where he's replaced Peter Quill. There's no Peter Quill. So I'm curious, are we going to get a story later on the season where we do have the Guardians as we know them, or is this world entirely free of Peter Quill? I ask just as a Missourian. I got to watch out for the one Missourian I have to represent myself on screen.
Yeah, indeed. I don't know. I think right now I'm also excited to see some of the newer characters that we've been introduced to in the MCU. Is Val gonna be in there? Is Black Widow's sister gonna be in there? I would love to see some of that. Is Red Guardian? Are we going to get to see the scene where Red Guardian fights Captain America or Captain Carter? That would be amazing. Something like that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm super excited for this show. I think it's just gonna be a blast to watch from week to week with all the like, oh look, it's that guy. Oh look, they did that thing. I remember that scene. Oh, that's different. I like that. So
yeah, I'm excited for all these different takes. The Guardians one next week is particularly exciting to me. I wonder if, well, I guess the Queen probably didn't make T'Challa a mixtape, so I don't know if that will have the same soundtrack feature that we know and love.
Maybe Shuri did?
Yeah.
Maybe Shuri made him a mixtape.
But like, if he's taken when he's a kid, Shuri's like none. She's like a little tiny baby, or she's not born at all. She's not making. I know she's a genius, but I don't think an infant can make a mixtape.
Shuri's the older sister? What if he's
yeah. That would be fun. That would be a fun twist. Yeah.
And she makes some mixtapes. Here's some NWA. Right? There you go.
Those are 2 very different parts of the MCU, Guardians and Black Panther. I mean, they have the strong family themes. They're 2 of the most visually vivid, colorful parts of the MCU, but like narratively, they don't have a lot of the same mythological ingredients to them. So I am excited to see how those 2 stories mesh with each other.
Yeah, is Ego gonna be played by Kurt Russell or the actor that played T'Challa's father in?
It looks like. I mean, it's the Kurt Russell Ego we've seen, but I think one of these
we see Kurt Russell, but we don't know if we see him as the planet. Like, is I don't know. Then I'm speculating things.
And in the beginning of the episode where Uatu is just showing us all these little fractured, broken glass pieces of universe, I think you do see King T'Chaka in there. I'd have to look again.
Yeah.
The opening credits show you like so many things at once. It was a lot for me to keep my eyes on.
Yeah. Last thing I want to see is what they do with Spider-Man. I want to see some more of that. We know there is some more mystical stuff. I think he had on the like Doctor Strange's cape. I would love to see Spider-Man 2099, like show me some kind of like futuristic version with Alchemex in there. Have it be Miguel.
What?
Please. I want to see Miguel as Spider-Man 2099.
Is that the post-credits one from Spider-Verse? You got to explain these to me.
I have the action figure here. This is
okay.
Him. He's from 2099. His name is Miguel something. I don't remember his last name. But yeah, he's trying to take down the evil corporation Alchemex.
Okay.
There's that guy. Anyways, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I'm excited for next week. But I think that about wraps us up, unless you have something else you want to wrap up with. Oh man, it is storming hardcore.
I heard that.
Yeah.
If it's loud enough that I can hear it, we should leave.
I should leave. You're fine. You're in a completely other state.
I should digitally leave. Like, we got to end the call while that is in our power before you lose power.
Melissa, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities, where we talk about weird old kid shows you feel like only you remember. So lots of cartoon talk over there.
There you go. What if they do a version of the MCU where they have like cartoons of themselves and it's the like 60s Spider-Man cartoon?
I like that.
And stuff like that. That'd be interesting. Anyways, you guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. And if you guys want to follow all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. You guys know the deal with all of that. And with that, I guess this wraps up number 41 of the Whatnauts React to Core. We will be back next week, I believe at around the same time, 7 p.m., I think. Go follow us on Twitter for the exact time that we will be live streaming this. We live stream all our reactions to these TV shows each week. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I guess that is about it. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.